We have reached the NBA All-Star break, and we are 55 games in. The Knicks are fourth in the Eastern Conference, and the number one worry right now is still health. We got some injury updates for you guys, so let's go over everything.
Hit that intro.
Basketball.
You're listening to the Knicks Nation podcast, where we've got all your Knicks needs covered.
Puts up a three. Bang! Bang! He ties the game!
Now, live from the city that never sleeps, here are your hosts, Anthony and Chris.
What is going on, Knicks Nation? We are back for another live episode of the Knicks Nation podcast. This is episode 36. Just wanted to hop on here during All-Star Weekend and talk about the New York Knicks first half season in review. Got some injury updates for you guys. Julius Randle, the whole shebang. I mean, everyone is injured right now. That's the main concern at this moment. But Chris, how you doing on this All-Star Weekend? Nice little break for the Knicks, and boy, this All-Star Weekend couldn't have come at a better moment for them.
You said it, man. We needed this All-Star Weekend break, and I'm feeling pretty good. You know, got a lot of news to talk about. Obviously, Knicks are bruised and battered, and just we need all of our guys back. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what's coming up. And yeah, man, I'm excited. All-Star Weekend. How you feel so far about All-Star Weekend, man?
Feel good? I mean, I feel all right. Not good, but, Jalen Brunson didn't win the three-point competition, and Jacob Toppin got robbed, in my opinion, in the dunk contest. How about that dunk contest, Chris, man? I mean, talk about it, please. I'm upset. I'm really upset.
Man. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, look, I don't want to say – I mean, I'll say it. Jacob Toppin should have, he should have been in the next round over Jaylen Brown. I don't know what Jaylen Brown did. He just did a basic dunk over somebody sitting in a chair. And, the judges gave it to him. It sucks, man, because the dunk contest used to be such a great event. And I feel like every single year, man, the dunk contest just gets worse and worse and worse. And they keep saying how they're going to bring it back. And it just falls flat on his face every single year, man. And look, not trying to be a homer, because obviously Jacob Toppin was in it and whatnot. And to me, he had the best dunk of the dunk contest.
Yeah, for sure.
And he didn't get the nod over Jaylen Brown, who clearly was upset and didn't do the dunk that he was – whatever he had planned didn't go the way he wanted to. Did a basic dunk, and they were like, okay, you win. You go to the next round. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that, man? Because like you said, he did get robbed.
The dunk contest, I think, it hasn't been the same, obviously, since the Levine and who was it? The Levine and
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon. Yeah, the Levine and Aaron Gordon. I mean, it hasn't been the same, and now they're trying to get these G Leaguers in here. And look, the G Leaguer won back-to-back years, but until superstars and NBA stars actually commit and play in this thing, Jacob Toppin, in my opinion, got the crappy end of the stick because he was Jacob Toppin, and nobody really knows who Jacob Toppin is. That's just my opinion. Look, shout out to Jacob Toppin. I thought he had two of the best dunks on the night, but unfortunately didn't work out that way. And Brunson just missed 3 straight threes at the end there in the NBA 3-point competition. We were all rooting for him, but he kind of sold there at the end. That was and the Dame won it. Man, I wanted him to hit those threes, man. Badly.
Me too, man. He when he got to that last rack, I was like, oh man, we got this, because how many times have we seen Jalen Brunson hit shot after shot from that same corner? And unfortunately, it didn't go down. But look, man, that 3-point contest is exactly what they're looking for from the dunk contest, right? Just stacked with prime time players. You had Dame, you had Donovan Mitchell, you had Cat there, you had Jalen Brunson. I mean, all these dudes were just shooting lights out, man. And I'm happy with Brunson's performance, man. I'm happy. He got to show off a little bit, didn't make it to the next round, but I just want him to get out of this healthy.
Likewise, so All-Star Weekend is still, I mean, the All-Star Game is going on as we're recording this right now, so keep an eye out on that. But yeah, just wanted to come on here, another Sunday evening, chopping up the New York Knicks. Look, 55 games in. The New York Knicks have 27 games to go in the regular season, which is kind of crazy to think about. And they're dealing with a lot of injuries right now. As we all know, dealing with a lot of injuries, pretty much sound like a broken record over here. But All-Star break came at a good time because I can go down the list. Randle, we have a Randle update. We have an Anunoby update. Mitchell Robinson is hopefully going to get back on the court and do some practicing. He's been on Twitter kind of active lately, which kind of leads me to believe that his the vibes are starting to, maybe he's happy. Maybe he's happy he's about to start practicing. And it's looking like DiVincenzo, Hartenstein, and Bogdanovic will be able to go versus 76ers. But yeah, injury news. The Julius Randle update. The latest update we have for Julius Randle is that Ian Begley says, quote, Begley offered a positive forecast on the status of Julius Randle, the Knicks' newly minted 3-time All-Star. Randle was one of several ailing Knicks regulars, and then he goes on to say, I've heard during this period that there has been some positive progression here during the rehab. I think that's left people with an even more reason to be optimistic that Julius Randle will be back at some point this season. Begley says, I don't know if they're out of the woods yet, but certainly the progress that he has made over the last couple of weeks during the rehab stretch has left people excited about the possibility of him coming back. And then I have a tweet here from Bondi who says Julius Randle wants to get back ASAP. And then Bondi says he's going to amend one part to say there are differing opinions on Julius. He wants to get back ASAP. But then others think that it's better for him to wait. So when you hear that, Chris, Begley's offering some optimism. Bondi says Randle wants to get back ASAP. So it's looking like it's happening. Like it's closer. We're getting to a point where there's going to be Julius Randle on the court, which is exciting to me. But when you hear all of that bunched in, I know it's a lot of information. What do you think about all that?
Basically, that's Julius, in my opinion. That's Julius wanting to get back ASAP. I mean, when this injury happened, we were hoping, obviously, it wasn't something that was going to take him out of the season. And we all said it multiple times. Hey, if this isn't something too major, Julius is going to do everything he possibly can and get back on that court as soon as possible.
Yep.
So, in my opinion, that kind of like cements that. Julius, we all know he's a warrior. And I'm sure without a doubt he's trying to get back ASAP. He doesn't want to be on the sidelines. We saw it during the previous Laker game. He was just, you could tell he wanted to be out there. He wanted to run right out on that court and help this team. So, the part that sucks is, do you play it extra safe with Julius? I mean, the Knicks have lost a couple of games in a row now. I mean, in my opinion, it's too soon to be panicking. We're still in a really good spot. So maybe be a little bit patient, but I also don't want to run Julius out there unless he's close to 100%. And hell, if we can get him to 100%, which is most likely unlikely, but that's the way I'd go. Play it a little bit safe. Don't rush him out there. You don't want him to get re-injured. And see how it goes. I mean, this team has enough, in my opinion, where we can do all right without Julius for a bit, if we get some of these guys back.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. 4-game losing streak to close out the All-Star break, and it just hasn't looked good. Now we have the Bogdanovic with a calf. I mean, when that came down, I was like, bro, come on. I mean, people are dropping like flies over here. But yeah, so some optimism on Julius Randle. I think he's going to be definitely on the court, whether that's beginning mid-March, that's when it's looking like. But I have a poll in the chat right now. Which injured Nick do you think is the most critical to have back? OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, or Mitchell Robinson? 12 votes so far. 50% OG Anunoby, 50% Julius Randle. So if you haven't done so already, please vote on that poll. But yeah, look, Julius Randle, I think he's going to come back. I think I actually saw him. I think he's on vacation right now with his wife. So get your mind right. Get your body right, and hopefully he's rehabbing and whatnot. And, yeah. But OG Anunoby, we got an update on OG Anunoby. I'm going to play you guys some audio, and then look, it's looking positive. It's even more optimistic for OG Anunoby, which is kind of exciting because OG Anunoby is very important to this team. I mean, the New York Knicks are 12-2 with OG Anunoby on the court. And yeah, this is from Fred Katz on his podcast. Just listen to Fred Katz on what he has to say about OG Anunoby. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Is due for, he's supposed to get reevaluated on the elbow sometime around March 1st. Mm-hmm. And from what it's been explained to me, it does not sound like he'll be back that much later after then. Like the expectation is he will go in for the reevaluation, and not that long after the reevaluation, they're going to be like, okay, you're good. You can go resume on-court activities. And then not that long after he's ready for on-court activities, he'll be ready for contact and then be back. I think the expectation, who knows, on a setback or something like that. But as of now, everything is going well, as has been described to me. And the expectation is that he's back at some point in March.
That was Fred Katz on the OG Anunoby injury. OG Anunoby, he says, is going to get reevaluated on March 1st. And the expectation is that he's not going to take a long time to, he'll be returning a little bit after that. So March 1st is right around the corner. That is literally in a couple of weeks here. So that's some great optimism on OG Anunoby. Again, the Knicks don't play till Thursday. So there's still more time to recover, still more time to rehab. So OG Anunoby, I think the New York Knicks will get him back before Julius Randle. So then you would have Anunoby and then Randle coming back. And then news on Mitchell Robinson is starting to come out. So Chris, OG Anunoby from Fred Katz, it's looking positive, man. I'm loving what I'm hearing. I'm loving what I just heard, because OG Anunoby is very important to this team, man, as we saw.
Yeah, we've been missing OG out there on the court, and I'll give you some even more positive news. I was listening to Bart and Hahn recently, and they were talking about OG's injury. And, Alan Hahn was all concerned, and he's mentioned, bone spurs.
Yeah.
But, Bart was like, oh, that's not a serious injury. I've had that procedure done multiple times, and I was good in a week and a half, 2 weeks tops. So he didn't sweat it. And he was somebody who, again, he said he had it multiple times, this same procedure that OG Anunoby has.
Yeah.
He said, look, once you free it up, once you clean it up, it's more so, getting that wound to heal, and then you can go right then and there. You can go out there and play because it feels that much better. So to me, that's amazing news. And to get OG back is going to be huge, because look, we just need everybody back at this point, but he's such an important piece for us defensively that will be the biggest help, in my opinion, short of Julius Randle coming back.
Yeah, I agree. Look, the New York Knicks, when they acquired OG Anunoby, they are 12-2 with OG Anunoby on the court. They are 12-1 with Julius Randle and Brunson and OG Anunoby all playing, because one of those games Brunson missed. So they're 12-1 when you have Randle, Anunoby, and Jalen Brunson on the court. We all saw what it looked like in January. It was amazing. The New York Knicks were one of the hottest teams in the NBA. Then they essentially went out the same game, if you remember. It was that game versus Miami Heat. Anunoby played extremely well, finished the game, and then after that he was out against the Hornets, and then Randle with a dislocated shoulder. So they essentially went out they did go out the same game. So They've only played 13 games together. Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, and Jalen Brunson. And they are 12-1 in those 13 games. Now, they played 0 games with the newly acquired Knicks, Chris. And Alec Burks and Bogdanovich, they were acquired from Detroit. Obviously, look, I've heard some things on Twitter, and people are like down about Alec Burks because about how it looks. Alec Burks was starting versus Orlando. But I just want to caution Knicks fans and just say to you guys, like, just be patient, because it's not the finished product. They just throwing in Alec Burks in the starting lineup. Hopefully they get the playbook hopefully they're knee deep in the playbook now during the All-Star break. But do you have concerns with the chemistry? Speak about, Alec Burks and Bogdanovich, what you saw, what you didn't like, what you liked. And I've just been seeing a lot of Knicks fans kind of, a little bit cautious on them. But I don't know. I think it's too early to judge, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's definitely too early in my opinion. And look, it can't be easy for those two guys. A lot of people, like you said, going off on Alec Burks saying he sucks. Why did we get this guy?
Yeah.
Look at that situation that they literally got thrown into. Yes, the Knicks are a good basketball team, but you're missing OG Anunoby, you're missing Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. DiVincenzo ends up getting hurt. Ihard's been in and out of the lineup. You got everybody trying to play and cover different positions. Alec Burks wasn't brought in here to be a lead point guard. He wasn't brought in here to start per se. Bogdanovich, same thing. These were supposed to be guys who were going to come in and give us that offensive firepower off the bench. But because of all the injuries, they got thrown into a tough spot, man. I don't like it. I don't like the all the flack that Alec Burks has been getting, and Bogdanovich for that matter too, because they're coming in here. You could say Alec Burks knows the playbook, but hey, it's still gonna take him a couple games at least to get comfortable again. And Bogdanovich, man. All in all, I like what I've seen from Bogdanovich. I like what I've seen from Burks, man. It's gonna be better, but when all you have is really Brunson out there and teams are just double teaming him, triple teaming him to death, and you got, Bogdanovich playing power forward, you got guys just out of position in general, it's not going to look as good as it could once you get Julius Randle back, OG Anunoby,
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think it's way too soon to be, just killing these guys. And we got to get our guys back first and foremost. And I guarantee you things are going to look way better.
They are. And hit some of these comments. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat. Chopping it up Sunday evening, another podcast, live podcast. Tropic Lightning says, let's go Knicks. What's going on? Knicks 100 GM. Did you see Candace Parker cut off the announcer the moment he said Jalen Brunson's name? No, we didn't. That is crazy. But I saw Candace Parker. That. Candace Parker also wore a Reggie Miller choking shirt. Trying to be a troll. Trying to be the biggest troll. Don't forget, we won that series, Candace. I mean, you're trying to be you're trying to, it's not going to work against us Knicks fans, man. We're just going to keep firing back at you. And look, you made a mistake. Just own up to it and admit it. I mean, it is what it is at this point.
That'll never happen.
No?
Just like with that shirt, I'm pretty sure she wasn't aware that, we won that.
Crazy. But yeah, I like what I saw. Back to the Bogdanovich and Burks. I like what I saw from Bogdanovich versus Houston. Fourth quarter, he showed what he was capable of, hitting shots. And that game is under protest right now. So we'll see if the NBA upholds that game. That'll be the first time since, I think, 15 or more years. So the chances of that being, us going back to Houston and playing an overtime game are slim, but there is still a chance for that to happen. And look, I don't see why not. The NBA said they made a mistake. The referee said they made a mistake. So we'll just see on that. But I like what I saw in Houston. Bogdanovich, he's a sniper, hitting his shots, hitting his threes. And Burks, I think Tom Thibodeau also in that Houston game kind of showed his hand, Chris, because McBride didn't play that whole entire second half, only came in for I think a defensive possession, couple of defensive possessions. So when everyone is whole, everyone is healthy again, who knows when that is. But it's looking like McBride might be the odd man out. So I don't know if you guys like that, but that's kind of what we predicted. So that's what it's looking like.
I noticed that as well. I mean, look, it's no secret that Tibbs loves Alec Burks and did so the last time he was with the Knicks. But I did notice that, McBride took a back seat to Alec Burks. And look, I think Alec Burks is a little bit better at, getting the team. Even this early on, he's better at getting the team, into their sets. So it could be something as simple as that. I wouldn't mind seeing Miles McBride out there with Alec Burks, though, in my opinion, because I think that's plays more to McBride's strengths, right? He doesn't have to handle the ball per se, and he could just kind of be a catch and shoot or 3-and-D type of player in that role.
Yeah.
So, but I think you're right. I think you're right. I think, when all is said and done, once we get our guys back, McBride might be, the odd man out in the rotation per se.
Yeah. Jay, what's going on in the chat? What's going on? Knicks 100 GM says, I was impressed. Always appreciate you guys in here. Yeah, McBride. Look, it's gonna look when these guys start trickling back in, hopefully Anunoby can come back and Isaiah Hartenstein, Dante DiVincenzo, can't forget about them. It's looking like they're going to return Thursday versus 76ers. So that's the expectation, is that those guys are going to return. So you essentially have two important guys in your starting lineup. DiVincenzo hurt his hamstring there in the Houston games, played a lot of minutes in that game. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is at this point. So we're expected to get those guys back. And then when Anunoby comes back and, Randle and, things will start to click and Burks and Bogdanovich can just stay in their bench role and provide us that offense. And, but with everyone, it's just kind of funky right now. This whole, they're trying to learn a new system, but they're trying to learn a new system with guys that are not going to be playing. So it's hard. It's tough, but hopefully those guys are professionals and that they'll get it. I'm not concerned about, especially Bogdanovich. I think Bogdanovich is going to hit a lot of big shots for us in the playoffs. I'm calling it now.
I like that. And I believe so too. I think him and Burks are going to be huge for this team. Once they get in their proper role, I think, look, the Knicks are going to be one of the deepest teams out there, man.
Yeah.
Like, this was the perfect trade, in my opinion. We got two really good players. And Bogdanovich, look, he's no slouch. I know he hasn't shot it as well as, the calling card says, but he's going to come around, man. He's going to come around, give us some more time. And once he gets that playbook, and once we get, again, sound like a broken record, once we get our guys back.
We are a broken record.
This team is going to be a handful, man. This team is going to be a handful. I can't wait for the game where they can't triple team Jalen Brunson anymore, man.
Yeah, tell me about it. All right, the poll is up to 30 votes. If you're just joining, vote in the poll. Which injured Knick do you think is the most critical to have back? OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, or Mitchell Robinson? OG Anunoby is winning the poll, 50%. Julius Randle, 43%. Mitchell Robinson, 70%. Chris, let's vote on this poll together. Who do you say is the most critical Knick that the New York Knicks need to have back? And if they don't have him back, then we're screwed.
Man, it's tough. I gotta say, just because of the impact he's had, I gotta go with OG Anunoby, man.
Ooh.
Just because he can switch, he can guard basically 1 through 5, and that's huge for this team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And before he got hurt, he was showing us a little bit extra on the offensive side. So I say OG Anunoby, but it's really a toss-up between him and Julius, in my opinion. What do you think?
You said OG Anunoby. OG, his impact is so important to this team. But I got to go Julius, man. I got to go Big Jew. I mean, the moment he went down, it's just taking that extra offensive load off of Jalen Brunson because teams are doubling him, trapping him. He's not getting enough open threes anymore. And Jalen Brunson, when Julius Randle was here, great catch and shoot, 3-point shooter this year, about 42%. Julius Randle made his life so much easier on the offensive end. And it's crazy how sometimes we don't realize that until somebody of Julius Randle's stature has to go down.
Yeah.
And now we're like, dang, come back, Jew. It's funny how that is, right? But
no, that's true. It's true. I mean, with Julius, the thing is, he doesn't even have to be having a good game per se or going off. He still commands those double teams, and that's huge. That's just as important as, being amazing on the defensive end.
Yeah, so I got to go Big Jew. Poll is up to 32 votes. OG Anunoby is winning that poll. But yes, if you're just joining, news is Julius Randle is going to get reevaluated in a couple of weeks, and it's looking like he wants to come back ASAP. That is from Stefan Bodney. He wants to come back Thursday. It's looking like he wants to come back Thursday. But Knicks are being cautious with him on that front. But I think usually during those situations, Chris, the players usually come out on top. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins, the Knicks or Julius Randle. And I think it's going to be Big Jew.
That's the weird, that's the weird thing. Because I mean, with Tibbs, Tibbs, man, you could be 50%, but if you tell him you're good to go and you want to give it a shot, he'll throw you out there, man. So I hope the Knicks save Julius from himself if he's not, close to 100%. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We could use all the bodies we can get at this point.
OG Anunoby from Fred Katz. We played the audio about 10 minutes ago. We'll play it again in about 15 minutes that he will get reevaluated on March 1st. And the expectation is a little bit after March 1st. He's going to return after that. So that is very important. That is very great news, in my opinion. That is, the music to my ears, as they say, man. Music to my ears. And the report is that Hartenstein, DiVincenzo will be all back on Thursday. And, yeah, I mean, health is the main concern for the New York Knicks right now. Look, we've had, 4-game losing streak to end the All-Star break. Now we're during the All-Star break. Get the guys healthy. Get the guys, back in the system and in the flow of things. And hopefully we have some guys to reset. And, look, but it was rough, man. The 4-game losing streak, especially, the Magic. I mean, we've lost now, 3 times to the Magic this year, Chris?
Yeah.
And
we have not got a single one, right?
They're a tough out, They're a tough out. I mean, that game was just annoying, especially with Paulo hitting bank shots, and it was just one of those games where
they were calling Banchero freaking primetime Carmelo.
Yeah, man.
He had a hell of a game.
That was an annoying one. And of course the Houston one, which that's what made that Houston game so important. Every win matters, especially with everyone out, but it's just, one of those times for the Knicks, and it's looking like that, the guys are going to get healthy and the guys are going to get back and whatnot. So, yeah, once again, the New York Knicks are 12-1 with Randle, Brunson, and OG Anunoby in the lineup. They're 12-2 with just Anunoby and Julius Randle in the lineup. They're 12-2 with Anunoby on the floor, but Brunson missed one of those games. So, only played 13 games together. Chemistry, Chris. In a perfect world, everyone is back. We got the squad back. We got OG starting. We got Randle in the court. Hartenstein blocking shots. Mitchell Robinson is back. We'll touch on Mitchell Robinson in a bit too. Bogdanovich, Burks off the bench. Josh Hart off the bench. Remember, he's been playing 40-something minutes. Precious, who has been absolutely incredible for the New York Knicks. Chemistry. Is that going to be an issue, in your opinion?
I think you could look at it in 2 ways, right? You could look at it as in a lot of these guys are being forced to play together right now in rotations they normally wouldn't be in, and that can help us because now these guys are more familiar with each other, right? You can go that route, and you can also go, but they haven't played with OG. They haven't played with Julius much. Mitch has been out. They haven't played with him. So is it going to take time? I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think we'll be fine. We got some really smart players on this team, and I don't think they're going to have too much of an issue. But I could see it on the flip side. I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's going to take these guys, once everybody gets into their normal position, normal playing positions, do you think it's going to be that hard for them to kind of gel per se?
The starting 5, no. We've seen it. They're great. They're the starting 5 with OG and Randle. They're amazing. But it's when you start mixing and matching. I think OG Anunoby with the bench unit, because I'm liking the lineups of Anunoby with Bogdanovich and Burks. I think that's gonna look fine. But rotations are, Precious. I mean, Precious has to play. I mean, what he's been doing these last couple of weeks. I mean, pretty much since we acquired him, he's Julius Randle's backup, but he has been inserted into the starting 5, and he's blocking shots. He's playing great defense. He's scoring the rock. And we know how Tibbs like to shrink shrinks the rotations. So I'm not worried about the chemistry. I'm worried about the rotations because I feel like there's going to be games where, there's somebody's going to be the odd man out. And most of the time, I feel like when everyone is healthy, that probably will be Precious. That'd probably be Precious and McBride. But that is when everyone is healthy. But Precious, I think, needs to play. He's earned his spot in this. I mean, he's going to be in the rotation. I'm just saying when everyone is healthy, it's going to look, it's going to be interesting what Tom Thibodeau does. But chemistry-wise, I like the lineups off the bench of Bogdanovich, Anunoby, Burks, Hart, and whoever's healthy between Hartenstein and Mitch and whatnot. But, that's why when we acquired Anunoby and Bogdanovich, we're one of the deepest teams in the league. But it's good to have depth. It's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a good problem to have. I mean,
yeah,
that's why these trades were done, right? We went from not having anybody really for the bench unit as far as, an offensive punch to having two guys now in Alec Burks and Bogdanovich. And like you said, Precious has earned, he's earned his minutes, in my opinion. So when we get Julius Randle back, there you go. You got somebody you can depend on to spell a couple minutes for Julius Randle. That's a big hole we had, We always said it before Julius got hurt. Man, if Julius goes down, who's going to step in? What do we have? And we've seen, unfortunately, when it comes to, having a Taj Gibson on the team, his minutes haven't been good. It hasn't been what we thought we'd get, Hell, Knicks fans are super optimistic. We thought we were going to get, old school Taj Gibson, but it looks like that ship has sailed, unfortunately. Yeah. But Precious, man, I got to give him all the props, man. He's been a force for us with all our, top guys out. And like you said, good problems to have. And, I can't wait till we're at full strength.
Can't wait as well. Hit some of these comments. As you can see here, I gifted some of you guys some memberships. So if you're lucky enough to get one, they're all random. YouTube does it. They're random. So shout out to Finessefo, Chico, Jam and Jet, Ruben, Bricks Nation in the chat. You all guys were gifted memberships and whatnot. So Coach salute. What's going on? 3-point contest was good. Yeah, man. Brunson dropped the ball at the end there, missing 3 straight threes. Coach says Precious won't play when everyone is healthy. And then he says 4 dudes off the bench: Hart, Bojan, Ihart, Burks, Douche, and Precious are situational. What is your response to that?
I think there's some truth to it, as far as Deuce and Precious, especially situational, right?
Yeah.
So like I mentioned, even though Precious has been, balling out, I think he's gonna, just spell a couple of minutes here and there for Julius once he's back, But for right now, not knowing when we're gonna get all of our guys back, I'm sure Precious is gonna be in the mix. And how can you not have him out there the way he's played, So look, it's not like Mitch is coming back anytime soon. I think he'll also spell time for Ihart. They're obviously going to want to limit his minutes to a point. Yeah. You don't want, that Achilles to flare up again. So I think, situational is the perfect word, Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, let's get there, right? Let's get to that point. I mean, yes. when we get to that point, I'll be excited. Then I'll be worried about the rotations. But at this moment, let's just get to that point. Let's just figure out how we can get to that point, because right now, dealing with these injuries. But Mitchell Robinson, like we brought up earlier, Mitchell Robinson is set to resume basketball activities at the end of the All-Star break. So whether that's this week, Thursday, Friday, this weekend, probably see some video of Mitchell Robinson on the court. He has been on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. He has been tweeting. And we all know Mitchell Robinson is kind of, when he's upset, he goes on Twitter and he gets upset and he takes it out on X or whatever, and Snapchat or whatever. So Mitch is back tweeting, looking like he's in good spirits, which is important. So, Mitchell Robinson, Chris. We saw what he was doing versus Cleveland last year in the playoffs. He's another one that's important. But at this moment, I think it would go Anunoby comes back. A little after that, then it'll be Randle. And then maybe beginning of April, heading into the playoffs, we get Mitch back 10 minutes off the bench, kind of easing himself in the game action. But that's how I think it goes. I think it goes Anunoby, Randle, Mitch, and then we're cooking, and then only how many games did I say we had left? 27?
27 games left,
Yeah.
man. 27.
Only 27
Insane.
games left. And let's say Mitch misses the next 15 to 20. Then he would have 10 games to get back up to speed until we get into the playoffs. So, like we brought up earlier, chemistry, but I'm not worried about, and then we would have to worry about, like, does Mitchell Robinson come off the bench? I think he will, because I don't think they're going to throw him in the starting lineup. But, yeah, I mean, but like I said, let's get there.
Yeah. Let's get there because, saying 27 games left just kind of gets me a little bit antsy, because you got some heavy hitters that are out.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not even going to say it. They're all going to come back. Everything's going to be good. We're going to get healthy. And we're going to make a hell of a run, I can't wait for us to get healthy. It sounds like a broken record, keep saying it over and over again, but I want to speak it into existence, man.
Yeah.
And look, Mitchell Robinson, starting on-court activity, that's huge. That is huge, man. He was playing at an all-NBA defensive. He was having an all-NBA, all-defensive, type of season before he got hurt.
Offensive rebounding, yeah.
Offensive rebounding, blocking shots. He was looking amazing. So to have that in our back pocket, hopefully gets back healthy, gets eased in, that's going to be amazing for us. But like you said, let's get there.
But Precious is holding down the fort, man. That's the thing. I think they're not gonna. Mitch is not gonna be rushed back. Coach says, "Do y'all think we give Noel a call?" Nerlens Noel, coach? I don't think so. Butterfingers, Nerlens Noel. I don't think the Knicks go that route. Stone hands, Noel. No, I think if we get healthy, if we get everyone back, then I feel like, we're good in the front court. I feel like we're good. Nerlens Noel, Chris. I don't know about that.
I mean, unless there's something out there, I have seen the reports that, Knicks are obviously interested in Nerlens Noel, and so are the Brooklyn Nets, and I believe a few other teams. But
there's reports, really?
Yeah, there's a report out there that the Knicks are interested. Personally, I think it would be to take that Taj Gibson spot because Taj just has looked, bad. But I mean, you could do worse than Nerlens Noel, in my opinion. But what would that signal? Maybe that Mitch isn't coming back or isn't as close as we like to think, even though he's going to resume on-court activities eventually. I wouldn't hate it. But, let's just hope that, he's not coming in. If the Knicks were to acquire him, let's just hope that it's not like, him to play big-time minutes, Just kind of a break glass if emergency or something like that, which –
I think
probably another player going down from being in that spot, but
Taj is done. Feel bad for Taj, man. He should be on the end of the bench coaching or whatever. But to replace Taj, I understand it. Gaming says heads of Sterling's Roberto Duran, heads of Sterling, hands of Stone, Nerlens Noel. Yeah, man. I mean, Nerlens Noel. I mean, I don't know. That's a brace glass in case for the emergency, if that were to happen. Coach says, so what do we do with the last two spots? Still got last two spots to fill. Buyout market is starting to heat up here. Kyle Lowry going to Philly. Really wanted Kyle Lowry. Look, PJ Tucker is kind of unhappy in LA. Maybe he gets bought out. Who knows? But I feel like the Knicks are kind of being patient with the buyout market. They don't really want to rush right now. And who knows, man? I mean, who knows what Leon Rose and the front office have up their sleeve? But, yeah, man. I mean, we have two roster spots that got to get filled up. So buyout market is look, man, you get guys on the buyout market, and those guys are normally contributing in the playoff series and normally helping you in that route. Even if it's not playing, even if it's like coaching the guys on the bench and whatnot and being that extra voice and ears on the bench for the young guys and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, two last spots. And I honestly, I don't know. I don't know where they go,
Yeah, it's been really quiet. I mean, I thought the Knicks were going to be a little bit more I won't say aggressive, but I thought there'd be a lot more news out there as far as, oh, Knicks are interested in this guy or that guy if they get bought out.
Yeah.
And we have seen some of that, but, it hasn't happened as quickly as I thought it probably would. So, like you mentioned, Knicks are being, you know, patient with it.
Yeah.
But I believe it was also Fred Katz that had mentioned that he believes that the Knicks are not going to go out and get anybody in the buyout market.
Oh, okay.
So, if that were to be the case, which I don't see, what do they end up doing? They gave a contract to, some of the G League guys or something like that. I mean, in my opinion, that would be kind of like, a missed opportunity to get a little bit more depth in here. Even though we're gonna be a pretty deep team once we get all our guys back. But what are your thoughts on that? What if the Knicks just stay pat and don't bring in anybody?
I don't know. I feel like they have to. I feel like they'll bring in somebody, whether it's another big. It all depends on these injuries, what they feel comfortable with. Maybe they feel good about Mitchell Robinson. He's coming back. Also some G League guys that we have on the squad. Jacob Toppin has been up here, and Taj Gibson is on a 10-day. I think he signed another 10 days, so we don't know if he's going to get, re-signed. I don't think he got re-signed for the rest of the season, so I think he's on a 10-day. So, and we've seen, and I think he's pretty much, he's done. But Gamey says if Gordon Hayward gets bought out, that's our guy. Gordon Hayward just got traded to the Thunder, so I don't think he'll get bought out. But yeah, it's gonna be like a random guy like that. Like we're not gonna hear about that just gets bought out, and we're gonna be like, wow, and then the Knicks are gonna pounce on it. If the front office, if Leon Rose has taught us anything, is that they know exactly who they're targeting, who they like. Chemistry wise, OG Anunoby came in here, fit like a glove. Bogdanovich and Burks, we haven't won with them, but again, they've been playing with guys that are not going to be playing. Like everyone is healthy, Jericho Sims, and it's tough. It's been tough right now for them. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. 49 votes on the poll, Chris. Who do you think is winning, or do you see?
I'm gonna say Julius is creeping up a bit. Is that the case? OG still on top, but Julius is cutting close.
OG Anunoby 47%, Julius Randle 43%, Mitchell Robinson 10%. So I could have added someone else in there, but those are the three, main guys. I could have added obviously Dante and Hartenstein are going to be back on Thursday. Yeah. So that's why I left them out. But 49 votes on the poll. OG Anunoby is winning the poll. If you want to chime in the chat as to why you voted for OG Anunoby over Julius Randle, the question is, which injured Knick do you think is the most critical to have come back? OG Anunoby is winning right now, and Chris laid it out for OG Anunoby. I laid it out for Julius Randle, and you can go both ways, but I feel like Randle lessens the load off of Jalen Brunson, and look, OG is important too, man. I love OG.
We need both of those guys. When all is said and done, we need both of those guys. I mean, to be at our best, right? So get better, get well soon, come back soon.
Yeah. Okay. This is from Ian Begley on another update on Julius Randle. He says, I think he questioned a surgeon, a veteran orthopedic surgeon, weighs in on Julius Randle, who has taken some positive steps during his current rehab process. He says, quote, he would likely feel some weakness at times, but if he rehabs, he can compensate. They say what I've heard about those types of injuries is that if you dislocate your shoulder, it's very easy to dislocate it again. And like I've been saying, it's Julius Randle is a lefty. He got his right shoulder got dislocated, but he likes to play bully ball with his right shoulder, likes to back down people with his right shoulder. So that is, it's a very important shoulder for Julius Randle, even though he doesn't shoot with it. So, yeah, I mean, he would likely feel some weakness at times, but if he rehabs, he can compensate, Chris. I mean, it's only a matter of time before Ju comes back, guys. I mean, this guy's going to come back. There's no way. He's built from the Kobe tree. He's a tough dude. He's going to come back, but he's going to play through some pain.
Yeah, he's going to play through some discomfort, obviously, for those reasons you mentioned, when Julius is at his best, when he's attacking that rim, and usually when he's doing that, he's doing it with ferocity, man. So gets me a little bit, a little bit concerned, because like you said, he does, use that shoulder, that's his lead arm to create space. He
Yeah.
draws contact with that part of his body as well. So you just gotta hope that that he comes back as close to 100% as possible, man. Because if that thing pops out again, that could be it, right? So gets me a little bit concerned, but I'm sure Julius is doing everything possible to get strength, and the Knicks team is going to do everything they can to just prepare him for that contact once he gets back. So
Yeah.
we'll see, man.
Chris, I know we spoke about not speaking about the All-Star game during this podcast, but I took a look at the score right now. It is 157 to 136 at the end of the third quarter.
It's amazing defense being played by both sides. Amazing. Tibbs will be so proud.
Tibbs will be freaking going crazy right now. Wow. Well, 160 to 136 at the end of the third quarter. But yeah, Jew. Yeah, Jew's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. Look, he's gonna play through pain. He's gonna play through pain. The right shoulder is he's rehabbing it now, and hopefully these extra couple of weeks. I think what this week is kind of like the 2 to 3 week mark that will be reevaluated. I think that's the second week.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait on that. Audrey and Anunoby, those of you that are just joining, we played a Fred Katz audio soundbite that pretty much said that Anunoby will get reevaluated on March 1st, which is in a couple of weeks. The Knicks don't play till Thursday. So he would get reevaluated on March 1st, and the expectation is that he will come back a little bit after that. So that is very important. Coming out the break, Chris, I mean, we got 2 important games, right? I mean, right now we are the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, and, we've lost 4 in a row, and that's kind of set us back, but the team behind us, the 76ers and Indiana's, 2.5 games behind us. So the East, I mean, then you got Miami winning 6 out of their last 6 and 4 in their last 10, excuse me. So we're still a game and a half behind Milwaukee. Milwaukee's been a mess. So coming out the gate, 76ers, Boston Celtics, first 2 games coming out the All-Star break. So that's important. These games, 27 games left. That's important.
It's getting close to that. I mean, it's close to that time already, right?
Man. Yep.
We gotta finish this regular season off strong, and in my opinion, we gotta get this game at Philadelphia.
Got to.
No Embiid. We gotta go out there. We gotta give it our all to get that win, because going to Boston, going to play Boston, that's gonna be a bear. It's gonna be a bear with the injuries we got.
Man, that would have been such a great game, such like a preview of Knicks Boston if everyone is healthy. But it's looking like DiVincenzo and Hartenstein will be back, but Anunoby and Randle won't be there for that game. I think that's Saturday in the Garden, actually in MSG. I know Boston calls, whatever, but
yep.
In MSG Saturday versus Celtics, and then we have some winnable games after that. But these next 2 games coming out the break, that Philly game, man, that is very important. Like Chris said, come out the gate, beat the 76ers, and kind of separate yourself, because Cleveland, 9-1 of the last 10, number 2 seed in the East. And Milwaukee's like kind of reeling here, I think if the New York Knicks can get that 3rd seed, if they just can get that 3rd seed, man, that'll be huge. That'll be huge for us. And that's what I have my eyes on, that 3rd seed.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, we were talking not too long ago. Knicks were right there for the 2 seed, right?
Yeah.
The 1 seed possibly could have been in our sights if things continued the way it was going. But yeah, man. I mean, do you think the Knicks are looking at seeding at all? You think at this point in time the Knicks are like, maybe do we want to be 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th? Kind of like, match up with somebody who kind of gives them an easier path in the playoffs. You think the Knicks are looking at things like that at this point in time?
I mean, with so little, 27 games left, and the Heat are just 3 games behind the Knicks, and the Heat are in the play-in tournament. So, the Knicks have lost 4 in a row here, and we can say injury this, injury that, but, coming out the gate, we got 2 tough ones. So a little 2-game losing streak and a Miami Heat 2-game winning streak, and you're right there, and the Heat are 1 game behind you, and then you're 1 game from the play-in tournament. And that's not what you want. That's not what you want at all. So I don't think the Knicks can afford to just look at, oh, no, we're good, we'll just finish top 6 and this and that. And look, I think they need the guys back. They need the guys healthy. And they need to start stacking up some wins. Like Jalen Brunson said, which I absolutely loved. Like, we can't keep looking forward to what we will be. We have to look at the current Knicks team, because we don't know what will look like when that happens, if that happens. So we just have to start winning games, period. Like Donovan says in the chat. What's going on, Donovan? We have to start winning games, period. I mean, the Heat are 3 games behind us and play-in tournament, Chris. I mean, I don't want to utter those words again, but we got to start winning, point blank. So I don't know. To answer your question, I don't think the Knicks can afford to just, be like, give him an extra week here and there. But, we got to. And I think the Knicks have the 12th toughest schedule remaining in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken. So they have that going up against them. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, it's crazy to think, right? With the way the current standings are, there's just such little margin for between all these teams. So you lose 1, you lose 2, and in our case, we lost 4, and we drop. Just like that. I mean, just as quickly as we were, half game out from like the 2 seed, boom, we get knocked down. So. Things are heating up. Teams are starting to play better. And like you said, Miami is right there, a couple games away. And,
that's it.
That's their MO, right? Seems like they just borderline play 500, and then towards the end, they start to heat up. So, yeah, like you guys have said, we got to start winning these games because, things are getting tight in the standings, man.
And I think they will. I think, look, Thursday is important at Philly, missing a beat. I know they still have Maxey and whatnot, but I think Thursday was important for the team. And in Boston on Saturday, that's going to be a tough one without the guys. But CM, what's going on in the chat? When is this show on? I keep missing it. Every Sunday at 9:30. And we are on now, CM. So appreciate you tuning in live and listening to us. Every Sunday at 9:30, we do a live podcast, and then we post it to Apple and Spotify. So you guys can, if you're audio listeners, you guys can take a listen to it there as well. But yeah, just chopping it up, man. We got some good news on the Anunoby front. Julius Randle was eager to come back. Mitchell Robinson resuming basketball activities. DiVincenzo Hartenstein will be back on Thursday. And like we were just talking about, the East is very, very tight. So a couple of games, but I don't want to think about that. We just have to win. Who's in front of us? We just have to keep winning, and then we just worry about all the other dominoes to fall into place after that. And then, yeah, I mean, but until then, All-Star break is still happening until Thursday. So the guys have some time to get healthy, and, hopefully we can just get a couple of our pieces back, man. Please, basketball gods. It's all we ask for.
A couple.
It's all we ask for, man.
And let Jalen Brunson leave the All-Star game without any injuries. Thank you.
Take him out right now. I mean, if he's still playing right now. But yeah, I mean, JB is playing the All-Star games. Pretty cool seeing Jalen Brunson this All-Star weekend. He's looking like a kid in a candy shop, man. Just embracing everything, enjoying the moments and whatnot. Unfortunately, he couldn't win the 3-point contest, and the dunk contest was an absolute disaster. So the judges were not on Jacob Toppin's side on that one. CM says, love the show. Always appreciate you, CM, in the chat, supporting or whatnot. 54 votes. Anunoby still winning. OG Anunoby, 48%. Julius Randle, 43%. Mitchell Robinson, 9%. So, look, Anunoby, man. I mean, I love OG, man. I just, look, 12-2 with Anunoby. And, when he got traded here, he changed the culture, Chris. I mean, he changed... Dare I say he changed the season because before that it was rough.
I said it, right? I said it here. I was like, hey, I don't know about OG. It's a lateral move.
Yeah,
I said that. said he's just a little bit better defending than RJ. I said all that stuff, man. And he won me over, man. He won me over. His defense is elite, not just a little bit better, and he started showing us that offensive game, man. So in my opinion, you get somebody like that, you need that day in and day out. You need a guy like OG Anunoby, and we're lucky to have him. Can't wait till he's back.
Cannot wait till he's back. So, Chris, anything you want to touch on before we head up on out of here? Episode in the books.
No, man, we just gotta get them wins, man. We gotta come out this All-Star break, get many of our guys back as we possibly can and start getting those wins. Because, right around the corner comes the playoff, man. 27 games left. 27 games left.
That's nothing,
Insane.
Man. I feel like it was just yesterday we were on here, just episode 20, the Knicks Nation podcast, and now it's 36, man. It's been crazy, man. I appreciate every single one of you supporting and whatnot, but it's been a heck of a season, and I'm excited for what is to come. CM says Paul George in the offseason. Let's just wait. Let's just wait.
I mean, me. I wanted Paul George from the get-go, so why not?
We got to worry about signing Hartenstein, Precious. We're not going to have cap space for all that. So I think he'll go back to Indiana if he doesn't stay in LA. But yeah, like Coach here says, hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button on the channel. Apple, Spotify. If you haven't done so already, please leave a review. It helps out as well. But Donovan Jaden says, I definitely can't wait to get OG Anunoby back. Yes, I mean, look, he's winning in the poll. 49% gives you that defense. And it stinks because when the last few games, he was just starting to get comfortable offensively. Hitting his mid-range shots, looking like baby Kawhi Leonard out there, being extremely comfortable in the offense, and then boom, poof. I feel like these guys like sometimes I have moments when I'm like, what happened? I'm like, come on, like.
Seems to always happen to the Knicks, though. Like you didn't see that happen. I know he had some injuries in Toronto, but never like that. Just like hitting his stride, and the next thing you know, poof, gone. Yeah,
it was such like an exciting time too. At the end of January, beginning of February. But look, we'll get back on track. We will get back on track. We will get everyone healthy. OG Anunoby will come back. Randle will come back, and the guys will come back. And chemistry, in my opinion, won't be an issue. But we shall see. Episode 36 in the books. All-Star Weekend. Appreciate every single one of you in here joining us on this Sunday evening. We will be back next week. Every Sunday at 9:30, we are live streaming. And, appreciate every single one of you. As always, it is Let's Go Knicks. We'll end it on this last gaming comment. He says, Precious and iHeart are playing out of the Knicks. They were playing real good despite the injuries. Some teams could offer them a big contract. Yes. Especially Precious. I don't think you can keep both Isaiah Hartenstein and Precious. That's going to be – but let's talk about it in the summertime. Right?
Yeah. Let's enjoy these guys while we got them, Not saying that they won't be back because you never know, but
you never know.
I agree. They are playing above and beyond what I think anybody thought they were capable of. So, let's enjoy while we got it.
All right. Appreciate every single one of you in here. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation. That is Chris. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.